Beards, Books, and Bourbon is a spoiler-rich environment. If you haven't read or listened to this book, then you should probably go ahead and do that, because we're going to talk about it, and we're going to say all the stuff that you don't want us to say. So go back and read it, or listen to it on audiobook, and then come back and listen to us. Thanks so much, and enjoy the show.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Stephen.
Whoops. Welcome back to Beards, Books, and Bourbon, and this is our OOPSISODE, where in 15 minutes or less,
Maybe.
most of the time,
Probably not.
we go back and we talk about something that we didn't talk about or forgot to talk about or want to talk about again. In this case, we are back with Cameron Sullivan, author of the best-selling The Red Winter. Welcome back to Beards, Books, and Bourbon. Thanks for being with us once again, Cameron.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here once again with some whiskey.
Awesome.
Yes.
And we are trying something new for the bourbon.
Right. So in the main episode, we went back to something that we had before, which was Starward Twofold, which we absolutely love. Go back to the original episode and listen, so you can hear us talking about it. And tonight we're going to try something different but familiar. Tonight's whiskey is Pinhook Australian Single Malt Whiskey Collaboration Series, Cask Strength, aged in red white barrels, released in 2024. There's a little bit of a blurb here on the back, but I think it's an important one. Collaboration Series number 3, Joan Salcedo. Joan Salcedo is an internationally renowned sommelier and the founder of Drink Ramona, a family of award-winning Italian spritzes. She spent over a decade working in some of the world's finest restaurants, including Restaurant Daniel, 11 Madison Park, and notably Momofuku, where her wine list was named most original wine list in the world. She became friends with Sean Josephs over their shared love of wine and backgrounds as sommeliers. Together, they blended this extraordinary whiskey from 4 distinct styles of Starward Australian single malt, which has been exclusively aged in red wine barrels, further bridging the worlds of wine and whiskey. This one is 114.8 proof, 57.4% alcohol by volume. I don't remember what the twofold was anymore.
I don't remember. We'll bring the proof back out in a minute.
Yeah, we'll bring it out.
But
in a minute.
so
we're not drinking Starward, and yet we are drinking Starward all at the same time.
Yep.
Well, I am still drinking Starward, and I think it's 40%, which is
40%. Okay,
80 proof.
not quite as strong as yours. But
yeah, that's good.
Yes.
So welcome back to the show again, Cam, and we're going to pop into a part of the book that we did not talk about on the full episode. We had a lot of good discussion on the full episode about relationships, about the main characters, about the historical context, stuff like that. But there's a big part of the story that involves another historical character that is very important to French history and beliefs and belief systems,
And important to the plot.
and that is of Joan of Arc. So we're back here talking about that, and we're going to toss it over to you, Cam, to give us a little sense of how Joan of Arc, or Jeanne d'Arc, fits into the story.
Yes.
So I guess the main plot of the Red Winter, so the now of the story, is in the 1700s, so just before the French Revolution. But the Joan of Arc story happens 300 and something years before that, back in the Middle Ages, in the medieval, during the 100 Years' War. And I loved the idea of having these historical events, so the Beast of Gévaudan in the 1700s and the trial of Joan of Arc in the 1400s, both of which have quite strong supernatural elements, even in the source material, in the history itself. So the trial of Joan of Arc was largely, was she a witch? Was she actually hearing the voice of God and the saints, or was she just crazy? So, and this is, there are legitimate court documents still existing from this time that you can look at. Most of these things we wouldn't even consider in a court of law now. Like this, historically, in terms of what you could try someone for, these would be considered ridiculous. They're supernatural, they're magical, they're just not considered real.
Right.
At the time, they were very much a part of the legal system and the way that people viewed the world. So I guess I took, similarly to what I did with the Beast of Gévaudan, took that superstition, the religion, the folklore, and made that the real story. And then the legal case and the kind of secular world view that became the history, I made that kind of just the veneer that was used to kind of sanitize these quite supernatural events. And the rule I gave myself with the whole book was that nothing that happened could, I guess, change our understanding of the history now.
Mhm.
So everything needs to be consistent. Nothing would change the world that we know now, which, again, wasn't that difficult because a lot of the history was quite magical, quite
Right.
occultish, even when it was written. And most interesting, the thing that because I wasn't initially going to include the Joan of Arc timeline in the story, but what really kind of grabbed me about it was one of her lieutenants, Hilda Rai, who's the inspiration for the Bluebeard folk story, the fairy tale.
Yeah.
He was one of her lieutenants, and after she was executed, burned at the stake as a witch, became obsessed with her. He was a very wealthy nobleman, French nobleman, and started sort of calling in favors to deal in the occult and try and speak to her again, and put on these incredibly lavish stage spectaculars, spent all his family's money putting on these stage spectaculars about her to kind of venerate her after her death and redeem her reputation a little bit. And as a result, most likely politically motivated, he was arrested, tried for trying to summon demons. Again, all very well documented in very official court documents, which we wouldn't entertain today.
Right.
And so those two stories combined were incredibly interesting and compelling for me. And again, I didn't have to do much. I just kind of foregrounded the supernatural elements as the main story and let Sebastian come in and solve the case. And Livia, obviously.
Yeah.
Livia was deeply into both of those stories. And what was that bridge like as you created that between those two historical events for her?
I wanted her to tell that story, partly because I wanted an external perspective on Sebastian, because the rest of the book is from his perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And Livia telling those chapters in the third person, I think, gave a really fun way to show what he actually is like in the world. And he's quite scary and not always very pleasant. And I love that she wasn't scared of him herself, but could still relay that. And she was able to do that in a timeline that kind of showed a little of who he used to be as well, kind of 300 years ago. So
Right.
she was useful from an author perspective. She was useful just for those really nuts and bolts exposition things, but then her character also lent a really fun flavor. She's from ancient Rome. She's seen humanity in all of its terrible, burning women at the stake, or serial killers. Gilles de Rais was one of the first serial killers. She's seen all this before, and she's got a very dry, kind of fun perspective on things that we kind of.
It really
She's not
does.
afraid to kill some sacred cows.
Yep. She's great.
And we touched on that in the full episode too. She accepts all the consequences that she gets, no matter what they are.
Yep.
And it doesn't bug her one bit.
Yes.
Doesn't bug her one bit. So that is a fascinating piece of the. Do you want to do a little tasting here?
Let's do a little tasting.
So we're doing a little tasting of the Pinhook. You're continuing with Starward. However, Pinhook is a blending of 4 different Starward iterations, as we
Right.
understand it from the label.
It's
Although
all
it does not say which ones those are.
right.
But it's all single malt. Yeah.
It's all single malt.
Yeah.
And it's all Starward barrels.
Right.
And then aged in red wine barrels again.
Right.
And this is different
Much
from the twofold.
Much different from the twofold.
I get leather on the nose and on the palate.
This is powerful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's 116.
Yeah.
It's
If you add this to
very
your
powerful spirit.
this is a powerful draw.
This is like Semidell in a glass.
It is. It's like
Yeah.
in the glass. Yeah. Yeah. We learned this a little bit from one of the distillers. So part of what we've done in season 6 here, Cam, is to increase the number of author interviews that we've had, and also increase the number of interviews that we have with distillers of bourbon. So it's been really fun this season. We've had some of the big distillers in the United States come on the show. It's been great, and maybe we'll reach out to Starward too and see if we can get them on the show.
Yeah, no kidding.
But anyway, one of the things when we talk about leather, there's this idea that somehow when you're drinking, you're like chomping down on like a car seat or an old jacket that somebody wore, in this idea. But the leather flavor is more of that. I don't even know how to articulate it. It's more of that.
It's very dry. It's tannin.
Yeah, it's like a dry tannin.
But it's not light. It's not floral.
Right.
It's well, I mean, it's a little bit like a dried fruit kind of almost, or
yeah.
If you took a peach,
I see. Yes.
Yeah, if you took a peach and you put it inside of a smokehouse where they're smoking meat, and you let it dry out in the smoke, it's that kind of flavor where it's
even when you even get a little bit.
It's very strong,
like
right? It's dark, it's strong, it's very smoky.
Yep.
That's kind of what that leather flavor is, and I think the reason why people say leather is because as you're tasting it, you're also smelling it at the same time. Your nose is very involved with your taste buds, and when I taste it, I also smell leather at the same time.
Right. It's lovely. This is a strong pour. If you find a bottle of this, I would highly recommend you add it to your collection. It's a nice. It's like you said. It's a figgy, peachy, dried fruit flavor versus the cherry, red fruit that we got in the other one.
Plenty of spice.
And a lot of there's a little bit more burn in this one that you're getting at Starward because of the higher proof.
A lot of smoke. There's a lot of smoke in this.
Yeah. In the United States, the distillers in Kentucky are fond of calling the burn that you get when it's going down after you swallow a good old Kentucky hug. You're getting a Kentucky hug.
Yeah.
In the middle of your chest. The rest of us are like, that is swallowing a flame as it's going down your esophagus and into your stomach.
Yeah.
And there's a lovely, it's a lovely sensation, but it burns. This one burns. This one's got a burn to it.
I mean, the nice thing, like with the Starward that you've got, one of the nice things about it is that when you keep it at less than 90 proof, so less than 45% alcohol, it means that the alcohol doesn't get in the way of the flavors. Right. So it's still a spirit. It's still got plenty of kick in it, but it's just low enough that you're not drowning out any of the flavors. And that's particularly good for somebody who's just starting out. They're just trying whiskey or bourbon or rye for the very first time. And then once you kind of get used to that and your palate's used to it, then you can start kind of upping the proof if you want to. Because I think the first time that Stephen and I tried something that was 100 proof or higher,
right.
the only thing that we could talk about was, wow, it burns. Oh, gosh, it burns. Man, does yours burn? Oh, mine burns. Oh, my tongue hurts. What is going on?
Yeah. How's that Kentucky hug? Yeah.
Kentucky hug, yeah.
Right.
We've evolved.
And now we're drinking 116 proof, and we're talking about fruit leather.
That's right. That's right. It is. It is a good pour. If you can find a bottle, and there are multiple iterations also of Pinhook, right?
There are.
Not just the collaboration series, but there's other ones too. So that have different flavor profiles.
We had one.
We did have
We
one.
did have one. I think it went into our infinity bottle.
I think so too. Yeah.
I'll get the infinity bottle.
We have an infinity bottle, which is another thing that we do. The leftovers of all the little bottles that have only 2 or 3 ounces left in them, or 4 ounces left in them, we've combined into what's called an infinity bottle, which is all of those bourbons in one bottle.
And if you can kind of see past the reflection, there is a glass skull inside the bottle.
That sounds very fitting. I dread to think what that's going to end up as when you guys are done
So
with
there's
it.
I think there's about
Right.
12 bourbons right now sitting in that
Yeah,
bottle.
yeah. There's
12 different bourbons.
11 or 12 different bourbons that we actually have in here right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so there we go. There we got the arc of Jeanne d'Arc in the story.
Very
right?
nice. The Arc of Jeanne d'Arc.
You like that? That was
Nice.
That was good.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
So where are we at? We're about 15 minutes, I think, right?
We're there.
We made it.
Somewhere around
We made
there.
it. We
Yeah.
made it. Well, once again,
Right.
Cameron Sullivan, thank you for joining us on the OOPSISODE of Beards, Books, and Bourbon, as well as the full episode that you joined us for, talking about the Red Winter. Please make sure, readers, if you pick this book up, you need to add that to your library. The audiobook is brilliant with the narrator that was chosen, and it's just a fun listen as well for those of you that consume audiobooks. Where can our listeners find everything about Cameron Sullivan?
I do have a website, so Cameron Sullivan books.com, or follow me on Instagram. I am absolutely shocking with social media, but Cam Sullivan Writes is my handle. So please join me on Instagram for very sporadic posts and about what I'm doing and what's coming up next.
I'm excited about that. We
Nice.
found you on Instagram, and we follow you on Instagram for sure. And so it's been an absolute delight to have you on the show. Thank you for spending time with us from Melbourne, Australia, Cam. We really appreciate you being on the show.
Yep.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
And remember, as always, and I think I said this in the first episode as well, well, maybe I'll do something a little bit different.
Do something different, Stephen.
Yeah, if you've got Jeanne d'Arc in your dreams or not, it really doesn't make any difference.
I'd rather have the succubus in my dream.
The succubus was an episode, in the first episode, so we'll leave her there.
Yeah, true.
But if you're not listening to Beards, Books, and Bourbon,
You're fighting a war for the freedom of France,
maybe Vive la France.
or you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.